we go.
I just blew it out.
Okay.
Waiting for this to go live.
What?
I don't see it yet. I don't see it yet. Are we
Receiving your content,
live?
it says.
Are we live? Are
Almost.
we live on the internet yet? Are we live on the internet yet? Internet yet? Internet yet? Are we live on the internet yet? Internet yet? Internet
Okay,
yet?
It says we're live.
Internet yet? Are we live on the internet yet? Are we live on the internet? Yes, we are.
We are? Now we have to wait for people to show up.
Who
Anyone
is?
out there?
Is there anyone alive out there? Can anyone hear me? Name that movie.
Is anyone alive out there?
Is there anyone alive out there?
Adam is here. Jesse's here.
Can
Kevin's
anyone
here.
hear
Peter.
me?
Lolo. Alex.
Are we live on the
I'm a
internet
ghost.
yet? While we have the people joining the room, hello, I will sing as you get on the stream. Singing while you get on the stream.
Oh my god. Hello from Western Australia. Dang, what time is it over there?
Well, is there anyone
Jeez.
alive out there?
I can't get the camera to, like, calm down.
Calm yourself.
I'm a ghost.
Ghost.
Tell us if our audio levels are good, you guys. While we're waiting for people to get here, hello. This is the Rocket Jump Film School live stream. We live stream every Thursday afternoon at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sometimes we do lighting demos. Sometimes we answer questions about the videos we just put up. Sometimes we do Q&As, and sometimes we just are goofs. Well, actually, goofs 100% of the time.
Most of the time, all the time.
100% of the time, we're goofs 100% of the time.
100% of the time. So, levels are good. Let's do this.
Yeah, so we're gonna try our best to answer industry-related questions.
Yep.
And, oh man.
Got the notification. Do you guys get notified? Let us know. I guess you do, because you're here now. I just got my notification that we're live. Do you? Don't leave home without it.
We got, FFRCT from Switzerland got our Titanic reference.
Yes.
And Kevinator did. It's one of our weirdest favorite references.
Yes.
We have a...
Did you guys watch the Oscars? What did you think?
Oh, dang, the Oscars, dude.
How
I
was
watched
that?
it live.
Yeah, same.
We were screaming.
Yes. I thought Jimmy Kimmel did a good job. I thought he was pretty fun.
He held it together.
Yeah.
I liked,
Him and Matt Damon.
him and Matt Damon were the best.
Those were a unique blend of,
Live stream offline. Are we offline?
Damn it!
Hold on. Thanks, guys, for keeping an eye out. Oh, nope. Bad video settings.
Aw, shoot.
Keyframe sequence. Hold on.
Are we back? Are we back? Are we back?
Keyframe sequency.
Are we back?
Properties.
Are we back? Are we there?
I don't know. What's happening?
I think we're still live.
I think we're still streaming, but we just have bad camera settings. 1 second.
You look like a ghost.
I still am a ghost. Are you seeing the chat? Are they still talking to us?
Yeah, I'm seeing me leaning forward and doing this.
Oh, so we're still...
So as long as I can see me, I think they can see me.
Okay.
And you.
Bad video...
But...
Oh. Well. Bad video settings. Keyframe frequencies at 4 seconds. Oh, no.
You're not offline. Confirmed.
Okay, good. We're still there.
Let's just keep talking as if nothing happened.
All right. All right.
Don't fuss with it. It ain't broken.
But I want... Okay.
What does it say?
It won't let me change anything while
Is
we're
it
live.
throwing up red flags?
Yeah, it's saying we have bad video settings. We're professionals.
You are still
Dude,
streaming.
streaming is not included in film school when I learned about this.
Well,
Okay, so people aren't seeing the problem. Blah, blah, blah. Is this thing on? Okay. I feel like, you know what just happened? I became all of my teachers in high school who couldn't operate the video equipment.
we
We are qualified to teach, but we are not qualified to use the equipment.
Yeah. This dang webcam technology that
Sweet.
I don't know about you. Okay, by a show of hands, how many people block out their webcams on their laptops? I do.
Yep, I do. Okay, so
They're watching.
we have some questions.
They're out there.
Francisco
Big
sees dead people.
Brother.
Okay.
Industry question: do you know what you are doing? Not when it comes to this freaking stream software.
That's a good question. I feel like it depends. You always pretend that you know what you're doing, even when you deep down doubt yourself.
That's true. You fake it till you make it.
Yeah. It's okay to have doubt. Just don't necessarily, if you're in a leadership position or any type of position, you don't need to, have that displayed
Confidence.
outwards. Yeah, it's confidence.
But to follow that up, if you don't know how something works, ask. That is the number one thing on set. Safety.
Yes.
Matthew asked this a couple times earlier. What's the biggest mistake that no budget filmmakers make? Do you think, Joey?
Biggest mistake.
Shut up, Kevin. We're not old. We're sort of old.
Biggest mistake no budget filmmakers make.
Not feeding their
That's
crew.
what I was gonna say. Yeah, not feeding your crew.
If you're gonna, you will have to spend money,
Yeah, because everyone's got to eat.
but you need to treat the people you're working with well. That's the number one thing.
Yeah.
Don't sacrifice how you treat people for your movie.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest mistake you can make. Try and make everyone comfortable. I did a project last year, 2 years ago, and I did it for free because it was with friends and I really wanted to work with them, and they just paid me retroactively this week because they really appreciated what I did, and they were like, we want to keep working with you, and like now that we have this money, I wanted to pay you for your time. So like little things like that, that's actually a big thing. It's like I was already gonna work with these guys forever because I love them, but like dang, professional.
How much does it take to make a short film?
It could take $5 or it could take millions of dollars. It just depends on what your scale is, really. How much money did we spend for the Snake Plissken short that we did with the cameras?
Just props, really.
Yeah, that was like
Just
food
like party
and
store
mirrors,
supplies.
and like we borrowed some lasers.
Yeah.
And we borrowed some lights.
Basically, that's kind of like a really tough question because every story is different and every story will require a different budget. But as you saw in our budgeting video, you could tell any story with as much money as you have. It's just going to affect the quality. So
Yeah.
I hope that helps. Because you shouldn't be able to not make a movie because of finances.
Yeah, you should kind of take a look at what you absolutely need, which is making sure your crew's happy, which is like making sure you can drive people to set or pick up food, make sure you have a camera, make sure you have cards for the camera, like that kind of stuff, and like start your budget from there.
Yeah. We're still doing that to this day. We're doing that based off of like what you have access to, think about that. Like, do you have access to that location or that thing, and then write a movie around it? Roger Corman did it. Robert Rodriguez did it. We do it all the time.
Some kiddos, I don't know if they're watching the stream, but you guys made a short film and posted it on our forums. The Worst Spy Ever, I think, or The Best Spy Ever, and they had props and stuff, but they had this really cool location that they got to play with, and that's like a really good way to, like, if you have like access to something interesting, see what you can shoot there. Let's see, what time is it? It's 4 p.m. here.
Yeah.
I don't know what time is it where you guys are. Let's see. Do I like the Canon C100 Mark II? I liked the Canon C100. I don't know if I've used it. Do we have I don't know if we have the Mark II or not. But I really actually like the C100, C300, and C500. Like, those lines are good little workhorse cameras. I'm not going to get into camera picks because that's a whole separate topic, and I think I might do a whole stream on choosing cameras because I get that question so much. So top 5 DSLRs to shoot feature or short films. Again, that comes down to what you're shooting. And then we can later talk about how do you know what you need for what you're shooting, and that's going to be possibly a video, but we'll do a Q&A for that.
Cryptic potato.
Do you know anything about
What's the most efficient way to film a dialogue scene? Well,
standard coverage?
That's a good question.
The most efficient way is to put 2 people in a frame and shoot just one.
Yeah. I would say try and figure out blocking it. Stage it. What is the scene? Any scene could be different. So what is the scene? And then block it with your actors. And think about the best way to capture that with your story. If it's just 2 people talking to each other, maybe that's just standard coverage. If they're walking, then maybe it's something else. Or if you can have your actors move around and then figure it out.
Don't block your scene around what, like, you think you should shoot. Like, let the actors work in the space, let them do stuff in their scene and see what happens, because you might get something interesting.
That's
also
what Deakins did for Sicario. That was his advice. He doesn't go in with a plan on how to shoot the scene. He sees what the actors do, and that all sort of was like reassuring to us when because that's so they might do something really interesting, and if you tell them to stand over there, they might not have done that.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, actors are a really fun resource. Not just they're people, but like they're also artists, and they will give you interesting things to work with if you let them.
Sorry if we're sort of skimming through a lot of questions here. We're gonna
try and get all of them.
If we pass yours or anything, don't be discouraged. Just keep asking it.
I see Caleb with, for an aspiring DP, what do you think is the best step in getting your foot in the door? I know I should be collaborating with people, but anything else? When I was first starting, I did a lot of work for free, which I hate recommending, but also it's kind of necessary. Sometimes it depends. I did a lot of work for lower pay just because basically you have to be on set. You have to get shooting. If you can start camera PAing, if you want to start first day seeing, second day seeing, that's like a master class in how to be a DP. You get to watch a DP work. So I was an assistant. I was a camera assistant for a while. And then just bugged people to let me operate. And then just shot as many things as I could. Like, I was working retail and shooting short films on the weekends with my friends for no money, to build my reel. And the more people you meet, the more friends you can make, and then they'll keep you in mind. It's like, oh, I really like this person, and they said they wanted to DP something. Well, I have a project coming up that I need a DP for. Just try to get on set and meet people is my thing for cinematography, and just try to just be shooting all the time if you can. Did you see a question, Joey? I'm scrolling through, guys.
Under Caleb, it was DDD231. Making transition from still photography to film. What can I do to build on, and what do I need to look out for? that's completely different. Well, welcome to film. It's
Yay!
not that hard to leap once you already have established like sort of a visual literacy and understanding of how cameras work and things like that. Because so you know, Kubrick was a still photographer. A lot of people can make that transition. It just becomes
I think
stuff.
yeah, it's with film versus still photography. I mean, like the basics, like exposure and composition and that kind of stuff work. There is kind of a different language to cinema images because they're moving. So learning what the meaning of a wide shot and a close up and how they play within a story is really important.
Mm-hmm.
And then also from learning how about movement and learning how a scene progresses from the beginning to the end. So, I mean, your framing might not stay the same from the beginning of a scene to the end of a scene, depending on an emotional arc or a shift in the story. The main thing the big difference is that you are going to be reading a script and taking emotion and moments and meaning and story from that script and then translating it into something that speaks to an audience, sometimes a specific audience. So knowing how the visual language works is really important. And still photography is about capturing like a moment with a larger story around it, and cinema has definitely elements of that, but there's a lot of transmitting ideas and emotion and feeling and kind of like showing that shift of a story or an arc. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit more drawn out. And then for technically, like for a photo, setting up lights, you only have to set up the lights like once. But you're moving throughout a space and you're going over the shoulders and reverse shots and different angles and stuff. So learning how to light is also going to be very different. Where you place your lights and how you change them around for different shots is going to be a fun jump for you. If you guys are just showing up, this is the Rocket Jump Film School. We're answering industry questions today. We're doing our best.
There's so many.
Oh my god, I haven't scrolled down yet, and it's just happening.
I just scrolled down. Oh no, I'm lost.
Oh crap. Julian asks, advice for filmmakers moving to LA, first steps networking, etc. Mm-hmm. You moved down to LA, like right out of film school.
Oh yeah, no, I inflated jump houses for a whole summer. The bouncy castles for kids' birthday parties. That I did the furthest thing away from film for quite a while, and I'm glad that I moved, because once you start moving and surrounding yourself in it, it's pretty hard to not find work, because people need people. It's really hard to make a movie by yourself. So once you're in it, around it, make yourself available, find work, be passionate, be encouraging.
Make
smooth transition, hopefully.
Friends like there's a lot of emphasis on making connections, but I would emphasize like connecting with people that really get you as like a filmmaker or artist or comedian or whatever type of artist you can like consider yourself, because those are the people that you're going to like keep working with and eventually grow with and evolve with, and make really fun, crazy videos like we did with Rocket Jump. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you want to make good connections, but if you really click with somebody, like hang on to that person and try to work with them a lot, even if it's just for fun. And then again, try to get on set all the time so you can meet those people, whether you're PAing or volunteering or however you're working on that. When you're on set, don't just tune out and do your job. Like, try and meet people.
There's so many questions, Lauren.
I
think we gotta shift to the thing where we each take one question, so we're not answering it twice. There's so many. There's so many
good ones. Dang, guys, jeez. Do you want to take one?
I don't know.
There's a couple here. I can combine sort of two.
Okay, do that.
So LJFMX asks, should I add black bars to my videos to make them look cinematic? And Glaucomatics asks, how to be a master of color grading. Well, first of all, black bars come from aspect ratio, and I can't go into aspect ratio right now because it's like there's a lot. But aspect ratio is basically what format or what size your film was shot in. And black bars make it look like your film was shot in a wider frame. They have like a very specific look. Sometimes you will want that framing, and when you shoot that way, you should shoot for that framing, meaning like right now, if I were sitting like this and I put black bars on the stream, it would cut me off right here, probably. So I would reframe, so I'm like maybe down here, so it would, come up. So you can't just slap back black bars on stuff to make it look cinematic. You have to think about it in production and what aspect ratio you want your story to be. So that's more about, do you want that kind of wide CinemaScope, crazy anamorphic look, or do you want it to feel more intimate, or whatever is best for your story? I would Google how aspect ratio was used throughout film. But you can, if it looks better and if it doesn't mess with your framing. In terms of color grading, try and get your hands on some footage and freaking play with it. I mean, and there's so many tutorials out there on grading in different software. I know DaVinci Resolve has a free version of their color grading software, and they have a lot of tutorials. That's Blackmagic Design. If you go to their website, they have the DaVinci Resolve free version of the suite. And also look into color science and look into Pixar right now on KhanAcademy.com has a really cool short kind of series of tutorials on color science. So if you go to Khan Academy and look up Pixar in a Box, that's a great place to start, because they explain what RBG is, how color wavelengths work, how we interpret and see color. That's a really good place to start. You got a question that you picked out?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we just read the questions and see who feels passionate to take it. You know what I mean? Where are we at? We got a lot in there. Oh, VR. Okay.
Oh, VR. Oh, dang.
How do you feel about VR? Just ask. And the challenges they pose as a medium and as a... Okay, so VR. Yeah. I get motion sick when I do the VR. I want it to sort of get a little bit better. But I really don't have too much hope for it in terms of a filmmaking medium. I think it has insanely positive and really things to look forward to in terms of what it can do to gaming. But oh my god, people cannot even make a movie in a frame, let alone 360. I have so much fear for it to just branch into a filmmaking medium. I really see the potential for it for gaming above anything. I think that could be a really good immersive experience, and it's a very personal experience. It's not film. I still believe is collaborative, and you can share in a theater full of people. If you go to a theater full of VR headsets, I tend to doubt life.
The cool thing about VR is the interactivity of it, and you making decisions and where to look and stuff. And I think that fits with gaming really well.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can't tell stories with VR. It's how you tell them.
Mm-hmm.
And gaming just provides this endless scope of possibilities with VR, whereas film, it's kind of you have to start thinking, what are the core things about film that you'd have to let go to make VR work, and what parts of film will work, and I think you can bring that into gaming.
Totally.
That's kind of how let's see. There's So many. How do I pick out any of these questions?
We're trying, guys. We're scrolling.
Kelsey has an interesting question. Kelsey Shannon, seems like most filmmakers hate people watching movies on their phones, but shouldn't filmmakers be thinking more about making smartphone and tablet-friendly visuals? That's a really good question. That's something we deal with here a lot because we know Rocket Jump videos are mostly seen on phones, and we have the analytics to prove it, actually. So what do you...
I mean, that's phones and computers and how people receive these videos is shaping the way that the videos are shot, I think, today. And whether you realize it or not, if you look back at some of the filmmaking and styles of the past, there are a lot more wide shots. Now there are just like an overabundance of medium and close-up shots because you cannot see on your little screens like what's going on in a wide shot. So filmmaking has already sort of evolved to fit how we're watching our films.
I think also the advent of a lot of DSLRs doing video has like made really shallow depth of focus really popular, but also it looks really good on a smaller image because it focuses onto one thing, whereas like wider deep focus shots are hard to tell what's happening. So filmmaking's already changing just how we're watching them.
It's kind of a shame because like wide shots are really cool, but people feel, I don't know.
That's why
people don't necessarily commit to them with the same confidence as you used to, because on a big screen, like in a theater, a wide shot could be, something more epic than it is on your phone,
Yeah. It's like if you have a chance to see like a 70 millimeter or 65 millimeter print of something in the theater, like go see it. Yeah. Like if you can see Lawrence of Arabia on screen, like
amazing.
Oh my god, it's a different experience. Yeah. A different experience.
Don't watch it on your phone.
Let's see. That was a good question. I know YouTube filmmakers are definitely adjusting their visuals to play well on YouTube and on phones and stuff. For Hollywood and the larger projects, their end goal still right now is either Blu-ray or theaters, or both. So I don't know how much that's changing the larger industry, aside from the thing that Joey was talking about there's a lot more close-ups now.
Hiram asks, how can you be part of the DGA? Do you know how?
You pay a lot of money.
Yeah, you definitely have to buy.
There's dues. It's it's kind of like
fee.
It's a union, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like any other union. You do have to. I know DGA has a good training program.
Oh yeah, DGA stands for Directors
Guild of America.
Guild of America, yes. It's a directors union that all the Hollywood directors and anyone else is a part of, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they have a great assistant director training program that's supposed to be like legit. But with most unions, you need to get a certain amount of hours worked within a certain amount of time and signed off by union members, I believe. And then you present that, so you learn from union people on sets, and you work on union sets, so you know the deal for X many of hours over a year. And you submit your hours and membership dues, like for your initial application, and then you can become part of the union, and you pay yearly dues, I believe, after that. And I don't know the DGA's specific thing. I know if you go to their website, you can look up a little bit more, but you do have to, if you are a director, you have to direct enough as a full-time kind of gig in order to work. If you want to be an assistant director, I'm not sure what the process is for applying for their training program, but it's worth looking into if that's what you really want to do. Critical Stories Multimedia asked, how do you deal with sexual harassment on set?
Oh, shoot.
That's a heavy one, and I wanted to address it.
Do it. Yes.
Dang. It's friggin' hard. Yo, like, I deal with that crap all the time. Not rocket jump shoots, thank God.
Yeah.
Because they know better. But that kind of stuff is just like... The number one thing that I would hope is that women aren't left alone to deal with it on their own. What I would really like to happen is see other men on set shut those men down.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens is women get harassed on set. Any of the guys can join in. If she complains and gets them in trouble, they're going to really hate her. Or she can get fired, depending on who they're friends with, for causing trouble. With sexual harassment on set, I mean, you get put in a really tight spot if you're a woman. And it's, like, the thing I would say is, like, you need to try and put an end to it early. Like, just don't take crap. Like, don't give into, like, say, oh, well, it will get better. Oh, it will do this. Like, try and find your allies on set. Try and find people that will back you up. And try and see if other people can help field some of that. I ended up leaving a project, even though it wasn't harassment. It was still sexism, though, where I was hired as a first AC, and then the DPs changed before we started shooting, and the new DP wouldn't talk to me. He just kind of avoided talking to me, but he loved talking to the male PA. And both me and the second AC were women, and he just wouldn't talk to us throughout the entire camera prep. And then he told the producers to move me down to PA so the guy could be the first AC. And I walked because no. I was in a position where I could walk and I didn't have to take that job. But a lot of it is just know where your line is. Mm-hmm. And if you are really unhappy and your mental well-being is starting to suffer, you can do what makes you feel safe and what makes you more comfortable first, and then go to the people that think will have your back to try and stop it, or you can just leave. But I found that calling people out on set usually can shut people down pretty quickly. I realized that if I get called sweetie or honey or sweetheart, if you call them sweet cheeks or honey buns right back, they get weirded out, and then you can say, well, why, just kind of call them out on it. Try to have fun with it, but if you don't feel safe, then that's different. Speak up to the first AD is the person you would go to. If the first AD is the problem, then you go to the producers. If the producers are the problem, God, you want to get out of there or try and get somebody on your side.
Good question.
It's a tough one. It's really tough. If you are in charge of a set and sexual harassment is happening, don't brush it off. You just say oh, well, they didn't know better, or they didn't if you make space for that on your set, women are going to think that you value the men who are harassing them more than them. And they won't feel safe. So fire them. If they're harassing women, straight up fire them. If you can't fire them, if you're another guy on set, just say, dude, that's not cool. I want you to stop. That's making me uncomfortable. So the woman is taken out of the line of fire. You can turn it back on yourself. Be like, dude, that's gross. I don't want to stop. So yeah, I hope that helped. More questions.
What is the best advice piece of advice you've received over the course of your career. For some reason, this quote popped out to me. There's multiple. I had to Google who said it because I don't think I was directly told it, but I had heard it and I was like, that really blows my mind. So I'm not sure who said it first, but the quote is, "I never learned anything while I was talking." Right? So think about that for a second. You know, once you can then sort of ingest what that means, then you will be more open to absorbing all kinds of information. That's really important to take with you when you work with people in this industry or any industry, any field that you want to go into. If you're trying to learn something, don't be a know-it-all, or don't shout down someone's idea. You will never learn or gain understanding if you are constantly talking. So I hope that helps. That's just I don't even know if that's advice. That's just like wisdom that will sort of help you through life, I guess. If it helped me. So think about that.
Yep, that's a good piece of advice. Alex asks, just because it popped up right now, how are those donuts you put on Instagram? They were freaking delicious.
What donuts?
I went to Donut Friend.
Uh-oh.
Oh my god, it's really good.
I didn't get a donut.
It's really good. We bought a lot of donuts, and then we couldn't eat all of them.
Where are they? Are they here?
No, they're gone. There was last weekend.
Oh, jeez.
Do you recommend shooting films with more than one camera? Does that look better? Is it easier to edit if you have a pretty high budget? That's from The Power of MJ. Really, it's about what makes it easier on set for you. Some directors like having one camera because they can really focus on just that angle, and just that performance. If your main thing is you need to get through a scene quicker and it's easier to shoot two angles at once, or you want the performances to match up, if there's a lot of improv, having more than one camera going at the same time can be a lifesaver because that will edit together better. It kind of is just personal preference. It doesn't look better or edit together better, depending, like with improv it obviously helps, but it's up to your personal working preference. If you if two cameras might be like too much to handle for a really intimate scene or something, or there's too many things going on, but if you have a big crazy action scene or a big comedic scene that needs to be covered by a lot of angles, and you're like, we can't get this all done one day, like get more cameras on set and roll them all simultaneously. So it's just about how your workflow is what you want that to be. When we shoot big explosions or car crashes or stuff, we have to have multiple cameras because you can only do those once. On Jess's big date, me and Clint did two cameras rolling, but we did them of the same angle, but one was wider, one was closer. So we'd shot like Ashley's coverage in like a medium and a close, and we'd have the same performance for each one, so we could edit between the two, and then we'd turn around to Joey here and do his close and medium at the same time as well. Just because, why not? We could have both of them. And then, but we were thinking about shooting like cross shooting, so we'd get Ashley and Joey's performance at the same time, but that wasn't as important to us as having both the medium and the close as options. So it just depends on what you want your final film to, what you want to have in the edit, and what your schedule is and how you feel about working. If your DP can like handle two cameras and you don't have to even think about it, then sure, cool.
Oscar's been asking, what drone do we use? We see you, Oscar.
DJI?
I don't know.
We used to have a DJI. I think it's still a DJI.
DJI? Is that
it's a brand.
Affordable? Is ours? You know what kind ours is, or are those expensive?
They're expensive.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Whose is it? Is it Matt's?
It's Freddy's.
Okay.
I think it's Freddy and Matt's.
We don't really know. We don't play with that too often.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
I'm not sure.
Drone stuff is
Drone's fun.
Changing the industry in a very fun way.
Yeah. Aerial shots. Dude, if you get a drone, get like really cool aerial shots legally, please.
I liked
and then sell them on stock footage.
I liked the what was it? The Star Wars drone thing that Corridor Digital did. That was a pretty fun little short.
Oh yeah.
Remember that? Where they went out to the bridge and then they just sort of flew the drone around and put the little
R2,
what was that?
or
R2, yeah,
or BB-8 or somebody
on it. On the
yeah.
That was
creative.
Pretty creative. Yeah, I like that.
Havbro Media asks, I'm a cinematographer and I just got an offer from a big TV show as a grip for 6 months. Should I go for it and continue doing smaller jobs as a DP? This is just kind of like, what are you going to get out of it? The benefits about doing a big TV show as a grip is that you get all that freaking experience of being on a huge TV show. And you meet people on that TV show. You can meet directors, you can meet a DP. Because TV shows work a little bit differently depending on what kind of show they are. If they're like sitcoms work a little bit differently and reality shows work a little bit differently. So it like if it's a genre that you are not interested in or don't want to eventually get into as a DP later, like I've avoided reality shows because it's a kind of operating that I'm just not interested in and I don't need to make those connections. I mean, if I didn't have any work and they offered me a reality show job, I would take it. But I didn't want to get sucked into that world. So the thing that it's like 6 months of steady work is awesome. Being in the grip department, could suck a little bit if you're more interested in camera and lighting. But you'll get like a big window into how that entire department works, and it can only make you a better DP if you know how the grip department works inside and out, and how the key grip works with the DP, and you get to ask questions and you get to watch that. So I would see it as like you get paid to go to grip school for 6 months, but if you think it would kill your cinematographer soul, you can pass on it. But like it just depends if you're not going to learn anything by going. If the benefit is only like, oh, you'll have a job, but you don't want to make any connections there, or you don't think it will help, like make your pro and con list. But like I took a job for a year or two in post-production when I worked on the show Psych, and I worked on The Walking Dead for a couple months as a post-PA. And I learned a lot, and the main reason I took it is I learned a lot about how network TV works, because that's like I'd love to be a DP for a network show at some point. And I learned how shooting on film works in TV through Walking Dead, and like how that process was. And then Psych used the Alexa, I want to say. They used the C100 for something too, for one of the later episodes. And I got to see that process. So you can learn anything from any job, unless it's a complete crap show.
A lot of good questions, you guys.
Ryan asks, is there a good reason to ban set photos that don't include actual content? A lot of the contracts I've signed explicitly ban it. It's just polite. Like, I think it's just respectful. There are a lot of like people on crew that don't want their pictures out there.
It's different for each set.
It's different for each set. If you're working on somebody's project, it's their project. They should be able to dictate what goes out on social media or not. It's just
ask permission.
It's covering their butt, because like you could post something that accidentally has stuff in it that is a spoiler that you didn't know. And you don't want to get into like hairy details and stuff, so it's easier to ban all photos. Mm-hmm. Just because it can ruin it for some people. So it's like yeah, it sucks, but like it's just part of being professional. It's part of like how it works. Yeah. It's just damage control for them, basically. I've had to sign very long NDAs before. I can't even tell you what I signed NDAs for. That was in the NDA. Like, they're serious business. Let's see. Oh, here we go. How do you feel, Fursiver ask, how do you feel about festivals that have fees to submit your film? Is that okay to pay a fee for a festival only if it's a big one?
We've gotten that question before,
Yeah.
and I think our consensus is that festivals are expensive, so don't needlessly submit to things that aren't a right fit for the festival. Your film, you know what kind of film you've made, so sort of gauge whether or not it's worth submitting to that festival. I mean, there's so many different types of festivals that are trying to build out a specific, block of films. Do you see yours fitting into their programming? That's pretty much a good way to limit and cut cost.
Yeah.
You don't need to needlessly submit to something that's a long shot.
And, like, festival fees cover a lot of costs. Like, it takes a lot of money to throw a festival, and people have to watch all those submissions, so it automatically cuts down on how many people actually submit. Like, if you're like, it's free to submit to this really popular film festival, it's like you're gonna get all kinds of crap. But if, like, people are serious, they're gonna spend some money. Do your research is basically what Joey's saying.
Yeah.
If the festival is held in high regard, if people have had good experiences, if your film fits the lineup they're looking for, and then limit yourself to the ones that you think will actually benefit you, or get your stuff seen. You don't have to submit to all of them. Or you shouldn't submit to every single one. Would you ever have a Rocket Jump film contest? Yes, we are thinking about it. Again, it costs time and money, but we want to make sure it's good.
Yeah.
Like, so you guys have, like, good prizes and stuff. So it's always on the table.
Remy Newt said, "You got any tips for writing and directing? I'm from the Netherlands. Hey,
Sup?
Netherlands? I mean, I really like our writing videos that we posted on our channel. I think those help at least get the logistic things of writing sort of out of the way. So therefore, all I have to say is my tips are just to practice. Like, a lot of the stuff that you write, they say, like, the first 3,000 words or anything, pages or whatever you write aren't going to be any good, and there might be some truth to that statement, because maybe it takes that many pages to really find the core of what you were trying to say or anything else. It just takes practice, and directing is the same. It just there's no shame in making stuff to make it and to hone your voice and your craft, writing it and directing it. So try directing other people's material also. That's also a good tip. You don't always have to direct everything that you write, so try that out as well. That's good practice too. Hope that helps.
Yeah. And then be open to feedback. Show your work to people. We have a video called The Power of Screenings, and it's mostly from an editorial perspective, but it also applies to writing and directing, is get feedback, and don't get... and watch the video because we get into it, but it's like you don't ask people how they would change the film. Ask them how they experienced the film. And you can learn a lot from that. And then listen to your crew, and listen to your actors, and, like, start working with people more. We had a question about difficulty finding good actors, which we get a lot, actually.
Yeah.
It's hard because it's like if you can't pay people, you are gonna have a hard time finding more higher caliber actors and crew.
Yeah.
I mean,
The-
it's the pursuit of finding who you work well with. I mean, I see a common trend between a lot of filmmakers that have their go-to actor. You could see that with Scorsese and Tim Burton, and
They have their
even-
favorites.
We do it here. I mean, Adam Sandler uses all his friends. You know, like all those guys keep showing up. So once you find someone that you do work well with, I know the director of Blue Room and Green Room, he has his buddy from high school who's acting in all of his movies, and he's a great actor. Like you find someone who you do work well with, and then you just sort of don't let them go, because yeah, I don't know. Good luck. Sorry. Once you find them, hang on to them maybe, because and hopefully that relationship can grow into more projects. I don't know.
Yeah.
I see that trend happen a lot, and I think there's a reason for it.
I would find, and this is what me and a lot of my friends would do, is that we have a few friends who wanted to get into acting or like acting, and then we would write something for them. And they would jump at the chance to work with you on creating a part that they liked. So enticing people with the craft is also good, and it's really like learning how to work with each individual person. There are some, I think, amazing actors out there that kind of fall flat with certain directors, and vice versa. With certain directors, they can be amazing. And it's just, if you are working with inexperienced actors or tough actors, change your approach a little bit. Like, take them out to lunch a lot, or get to know them and talk to them and have rehearsals and see what their strengths are, and kind of move the scene and the blocking around those strengths. So it's literally like, if you own a camera, you know how that camera works inside and out. If you were working with an actor, you know how that person works as an artist, or an inexperienced artist. And you see what works with them and what doesn't. It's really tough with inexperienced actors, but it's kind of like finding the right buttons to push.
Yeah.
But look for theater schools, look for acting schools in your college. If you are in college, go to the theater school or something. A lot of actors are looking to bulk up their reels, students especially, and they I remember at USC, I took an acting class. We were forced to take acting classes, so we'd be able to understand those processes more, and that you can also meet actors there. Yeah. I hope that helps. Scarsaurus asks, how much of an impact do you think me being a finalist in a film festival 3 times will have on being accepted into a good film school? I'm gonna tell a story about applying to USC. I mean, it can't hurt. It will not hurt your chances at all. It will look good on your application. Heck yeah. That's awesome. Congrats, by the way. The thing with USC is that when I was applying, I don't know if this has changed. It probably has changed because, as Kevin Ader said, we're freaking old. They wouldn't let us submit our films that we've made. They wouldn't let us submit photos, or I think they might have let us submit like an artistic portfolio at the end there, but like they wanted to know if we could tell a story. They had us submit any kind of writing. They made us submit essays. I had to write so much. Like my junior year of high school, I was writing, so I was sick of writing. I was like throwing temper tantrums, and my mom was like, you gotta pick your butt up and finish and put out your best writing. And I was like, no, I don't want it. So I didn't even get to submit any of my film work because it doesn't really matter what level you're operating on. They want good storytellers. And one film is really not going to tell them too much. Being a finalist at festival is a pretty good bet, but like they want to, I think they will be looking at your writing and how well-rounded you are and what kind of stories you're going to bring. I can't remember NYU's application process. I think it was similar. I don't remember submitting any films to them either. I didn't apply to UCLA. I kind of wish I had, because they have a really cool cinematography program now. Like 3 people are in it. It's like freaking exclusive. But the thing that I would really lean into with your application is your strengths as a storyteller, and how unique you are, and what you're going to bring to that film school. Because there's going to be a ton of you applying. There's going to be a lot of like aspiring directors and cinematographers and whatever. It's like, but what stories are you bringing? Like what stories are you going to be telling? I think that's what a lot of the best film schools are looking for, rather than accolades. So I hope that helps. And congrats, that's friggin' awesome. You meant Havbro Media meant DIT and not a grip. DIT is even better. You get to work with the camera department.
Yo soy Bob Oso. How do I find a crew? Good question.
You put out food and you wait until night falls.
Yes.
And then we come out
You
start eating the food.
You could,
like raccoons.
You could supply room and board, and you know in God, that's a dumb. No, don't do that. But you know. There's Rebel Without a Crew. That's a really inspiring book.
It's by Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, it's his. He is the greatest sort of behind the scenes on all of his DVDs. Like, watch Robert Rodriguez. He really does want to share how he makes his movies. Like, if there's any filmmaker out there that's like you want to be inspired by as an independent filmmaker and working with a little to achieve what appears to be a lot, Robert Rodriguez will tell you how he did it. You know, so Rebel Without a Crew, really good book. Really good behind the scenes on his stuff. Again, like I've said it before and I'll say it again, if people see you doing something or picking up a camera and working, then you'd be surprised at like who you might catch someone's attention. Or
Yeah.
Like, whose attention you doing something will then other people will take notice and then maybe want to help out. Like that's how you can make friends and do stuff. But if you're out there, if you don't put yourself out there, if you just sit inside, then you know, maybe your neighbor or someone won't come out and help, and then you could start forming your crew. I don't know.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. I saw my friend playing with blood, doing zombie stuff, and I was like, I want to do that. That looks really fun and really cool.
What are you doing? Give me some.
It's like, I didn't know you could do that. What? And so, you know.
It's funny how people come out of the woodwork. I mean, you can use every tool available to you. Use Facebook, use Instagram, use Twitter, but be safe with strangers.
Yeah.
Ask your parents. I am part of a few Facebook groups, like Women in Film or Women Camera Operators or Film Industry LA gig availability. Like, there's some like really cool Facebook groups out there. Where you can just like chat with people and find a community you like. If your city might have one, or you can start one. Craigslist sometimes works, but you can get some crazies there, so be careful. If you are offering to pay, usually you can get some better people. But again, it's just like reach out through your friend circles, reach out through your school. Again, like. Librarians and teachers are literally the coolest people that want to see you succeed, and they have really great ideas about how to like find people. Teachers will be in your films. Librarians host workshops a lot of the time at libraries for filmmaking workshops. Seek those out and meet people at those things. Go to events and that kind of stuff, and like make friends. It's like, oh, you are a sound person? Can I have your information? That kind of stuff. So and then find the people again that you click with, that kind of get you and how your creative process works. Like, I I know Freddie and Matt and like Clint and all those guys work because they understand when they're all yelling that's part of the process, and they're not yelling at each other. But it works. So again, like, use social media to your advantage, use your school to your advantage, use your local resources like libraries and workshops and theaters and stuff to your advantage. People who do lighting in theater might want to learn how to do lighting for cinema. Like, start getting creative with hooking people, and then feed them when you hire them. So, Master Blaster
I think
has a good question.
we
We can start wrapping up here.
yeah, you guys had a bunch of great questions. We're gonna cut it off there and just try and answer any of the ones that, any of these. We'll answer all the ones that you asked, and then call it a day. What's Master Blaster say? I found
Master
a good one too.
Blaster is asking, where do you go to get the best honest feedback? I don't have anyone except friends, family. I get this
Rocket
feeling.
Jump Film School forums.
Well, correct answer. Correct answer. Yeah, family is tough unless you have like that really honest cousin that doesn't know you too well.
We'll tell you how it is.
Yeah, no, seriously, we have the Critique Me section at discussed.rocketjump.com. There is a link right there. I don't think you can click on it, but that's the link.
There it is.
We have a Critique Me section. There are a lot of people in there that will give feedback as well. We're trying to be there more often to kind of give and like let us know what kind of feedback you want as well. Like, there's also like the show me your stuff section where it's like, I just want to show this off. Like, please be nice. Don't critique me if you need the ego boost. But you can put stuff there, and then also watch our Power of Screenings video. It kind of goes, it teaches you how to get the feedback that you want, and what questions to ask people, because if you just ask people, what did you think? They're gonna say, oh, it's good. But you need to like ask specific questions to get the feedback you want. And if you set it up as like, this will really help me, it's not finished yet, screen your work early, that really helps. Because if you're like, this is my finished film, they're not going to want to give you feedback. So just say, I'm working on this, like, and then ask them the questions that you need answered. So watch that video. That is super, super helpful. That's with Kevin Klauber, who just did our latest video with us, and he is amazing.
Luis Ramirez. Will we be covering film music?
Everything. We'll cover everything eventually. We haven't yet. Perhaps we'll have. We'll get to access to some cool composer studio down the road, and we'll do something really neat.
We should bug Max.
Maybe we'll
Maxton Waller.
Yeah. Maybe we'll put something together shortly. I mean, everything's on the table, so that I wouldn't rule out. And
that's one of my favorite classes at USC. There was a directing the composer class, and I learned a lot about how to talk to composers.
Yeah, maybe we can just like go
it's a whole
hit up your
skill
professor and be like, hey.
Hey, can we just steal your class?
I mean, sounds pretty cool.
For free?
Yeah. Stephen P., have you ever noticed any trends in filmmaking that seem to keep coming back? Well, I mean, the first thought that came to my mind was the trend in film with the shaky cam stuff. I mean, obviously that was just like overwhelmingly used in everything. So I think what's coming back is like more choreographed action sequences, and Lauren could speak to that.
Longer takes.
And, like, actually being able to understand what's happening, and so that's like a good trend that I want to see more of.
I think what always happens in film is that there are trends. There are popular things that get a lot of play because like something it goes well, and then studios or producers or marketing execs are like, do more of that because that was really cool. And then when it starts getting played out, it's when people start using it not to make the film better but just to use it. So shaky cam in the first Bourne movie was freaking rad. It created a really really interesting gritty style that like hadn't been that intense before. But then people started doing it because they're like, oh, this is a cool style. It's like, no, this fit the story really well.
Yeah.
But you don't use it in a film like Quantum of Solace. You don't use it for a James Bond movie. Like, that's not how James Bond movies are shot, and they're not how they're told. And so that's why I think a lot of people, like, I hated Quantum of Solace.
It's hard to watch.
You can't understand what's happening
because
it wasn't purposeful.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm just gonna shake it. It's like, no, there is an art to shaking the camera.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about this.
Yeah. So I hope that trend goes away in its own place, or used
like
appropriately. That's all.
Like, people think like, oh, CG is just like this like huge trend and people are just using it to be like blah, but like the thing is like effects in film have always done that.
Yeah.
From superimposed images to double exposures to like miniatures to that kind of stuff. Like, that stuff would be revolutionary, and then every filmmaker would do it. So things that seem very quaint now were big, huge trends, and people got sick of all the effects that now we see as like really charming. So like that trend of like, oh, people just want the spectacle. Like, film started out as a spectacle.
Talking pictures.
It was,
that won't catch on.
Trick photography was like the thing that got film like really popular. Like, having people be really small or huge, or like people are like, wow, like this train is coming at me. Oh my god. So it's like, I feel like everything in film has happened before, and we're just rediscovering things, and we're like, oh, really nerd. I'm hoping practical monster effects are going to come back. I think they are a little bit, but a lot of those guys like left the industry because it fell out of fashion, and now people are like, oh, this looks really cool, like, let's do that. So that's my Stan Winston, go subscribe to them.
Fricked. How are foreign films perceived in the U.S., by the way? Well, depends on who you're asking. My mom doesn't like reading subtitles, and
That's the bummer, is that everyone's like, I don't want to read.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
America's like lazy.
America doesn't get it.
America thinks that they're the greatest, so any other foreign language is like,
I can,
like,
yeah.
I like Kurosawa, I like Godard, like you say, you're
Stephen
into,
Chow.
Yeah, Stephen Chow, French auteur cinema, like Italian cinema, like Korean thrillers,
Korean,
horror films.
oh my god, Korea
incredibly
is putting out some cool, like,
you know,
oh, I nearly swore a bad word. They are putting out some cool stuff right now.
Yeah,
go watch some Korean movies.
There's some really cool stuff all around the world, and so the subtitle thing is a huge barrier in America, obviously, but
like, movie cinephiles are like super into it, but like the blockbuster audiences are like, I have to read.
Yeah.
I can tell you now that cinematographers are in love with Northern Europe light. Mm-hmm. Something about the light in like the Netherlands and Europe, there's a different quality to the light, because LA has this very, very specific look with the sunlight that we get going through the smog and stuff. So I'm personally obsessed with a lot of like European language movies. Like, you guys should watch Let the Right One In.
Oh yeah.
The vampire movie. It's just beautiful. I don't know how to explain sunlight. But cinematographers are nerds like that. Like, I remember, that's how when I visit other places, I notice how the sunlight looks. Because it's just like, one, I'm sorry, people from Arizona, but you guys got really ugly sun.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
I was just watching, or my roommates were just watching The Witch, and they had to put that in subtitles because it was the old colonial, like, language, 17th century dialect. And that was
my friend had to put Fargo in subtitles because he couldn't understand the Midwestern accent.
So I mean, you know, it's, even if it's in English, it's still not English.
Darnell's in the chat.
Darnell, what up?
Darnell likes your coat.
Okay.
It's Darnell. Why'd you show up right now? We're about to leave.
We're about to head out, so thanks for joining us, Darnell, and everyone else.
If you guys still have questions, go to discuss.rocketjump.com. There is a thread in there posting all of the live streams that you can ask us questions in, or you can start a new topic if you have a specific topic you want us to talk about. If you hit at Joey or at Lauren, our name will pop up. You can click on it and it will notify us of the post. And ask us more questions there. We're also on Twitter. We're at RJ Film School literally everywhere. Right
yeah,
there.
that's us.
Even on Vine, even
Thanks.
though Vine's dead.
Thanks for all your great questions, everyone. We shall see you next Thursday, and we're always like what Lauren
We'll do
just
more
said.
of these because you guys ask such great questions. We're gonna try and have some like guests and stuff, so it's not just us like trying to answer all the questions.
Yeah.
If you have questions that you want answered or want us to address next time, like make a forum post and tell us which ones you want us to answer and that kind of stuff. But again, we do this every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Our screenshot.
Wait.
Ooh, it's me. Screenshot.
Oh.
Get it. Yeah.
I gassed.
Uh.
I gassed out my face.
I hope you got that AO Shaw if you're in here. It was a really weird screenshot. Okay. Our next video is gonna be out at the end of March.
Yep.
And it's gonna be
Good.
good.
I hope. We're writing it right now. It's in here.
Last question. If I win the lotto, can I buy RJ out? No, you should finance one of our movies. That's what you should do.
Yeah.
And you should hire us because we're cool.
That's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can be on set and sit in a cool chair. And people bring you water. It's great.
You don't buy me out. I buy you out. I'm Mo Green.
All right, guys. We're going to see you next week. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, bye.
That's from The Godfather.
Of course.
Everything's from The Godfather.
Everything.
Yeah. Oh, we have a little Vito Corleone.
What? Wait,
Did
we're
you
not
quit?
going to stop. No, it's still streaming.
Okay.
A man who doesn't spend time with his family can never be a real man.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. I'm going to let this roll for a second because it's going to cut off. Okay, bye.